By the time the match went into extra time, the temperature on the pitch felt like a furnace. The physical toll of playing high-stakes knockout football in the stifling Miami heat was visible in every heavy step. Here at Hard Rock Stadium, the stakes were drawn in stark contrast. England arrived as the heavy tournament favorites, carrying the burden of a 60-year championship drought, while a surging Norwegian squad played with the absolute freedom of a massive underdog. That freedom materialized in the 36th minute. Norway's Andreas Schjelderup collected a pass on the left edge of the area and launched a ferocious cross shot that pinged off the far post and into the net, immediately rattling the English side and putting the favorites down 1-0. To protect that lead, Norway immediately shifted their defensive structure into a low block. This means they dropped almost all 11 players deep into their own half, parking them incredibly close to their penalty box. It's a strategy designed to suffocate passing lanes and physically choke off any dangerous areas near the goal. This chart tracking England's offensive momentum shows exactly how effectively that defensive wall worked. After halftime, the English attack flatlines completely. They generated a dismal expected goals metric of just 0.09 for the entire second period. The breakdown was so severe that England manager Thomas Tuchel freely admitted after the match that his team's performance was poor, heavily disorganized, and made life incredibly difficult for themselves. Knockout football doesn't always reward the better plan. Often, the path forward is found only when the original strategy fails entirely, forcing a team into a state of pure attrition. When an attacking system breaks down, a team has to stop the bleeding on the other end of the pitch through targeted defensive nullification. In this quarterfinal, that meant completely isolating Erling Haaland. Look at this pitch map visualization of Haaland's typical match. Normally, high-density touch areas show him dominating the opponent's penalty box. Against England, that footprint shriveled to 21 total touches. The English defense systematically cut supply lines, keeping the striker removed. Even with that extreme discipline, the physical margins were razor-thin. England was briefly saved by the referee's monitor when a Norwegian tap-in was ruled out entirely due to a shove by Haaland in the build-up. Survival at this level requires enduring periods of genuine suffering. When Norway rattled the crossbar late in regulation, Tuchel turned to a desperate substitution, bringing on Reece James simply to keep the defense from drowning under the pressure. Advancing deep into a knockout bracket requires accepting that you will face periods of total opponent dominance. You have to absorb the pressure and rely heavily on them failing to execute. Defense and luck only keep you alive. When the tactical blueprint fails to create chances, survival demands an individual player capable of breaking the geometry of the match. For England, that agent of chaos was Jude Bellingham. Completely against the run of play, Bellingham manufactured a lifeline right before halftime. He collected a clever ball from Anthony Gordon, used 2 precise touches to navigate past a defender, and whipped a low shot into the far corner to force a 1-1 tie. By the time the match dragged into extra time, tactical structures dissolved. Players were wrapping ice towels around their necks to beat the heat, and the outcome relied entirely on opportunistic micro-mistakes. That mistake arrived in the 93rd minute. Norwegian goalkeeper Orjan Nyland spilled a fierce, long-range strike from substitute Morgan Rogers. Bellingham, anticipating the error before it even happened, stole in to bury the rebound. When a team's passing networks break down, they can't rely on the playbook. They have to rely on a player with the intuition, the agency, and the sheer willpower to manufacture goals out of broken plays. When the final whistle blew, the physical toll was stark. Haaland had already been substituted off with an apparent leg injury, and a tearful Norwegian coach, Ståle Solbakken, was left to mourn a fantastic tournament run cut brutally short. Conversely, England dragged themselves over the finish line, officially securing their spot in the Atlanta semifinal to face either Argentina or Switzerland. Reflecting on the exhaustion of the victory, Thomas Tuchel didn't praise his team's tactics. He explicitly praised what he called their pure mentality. In practice, that mentality is highly specific. It is the capacity to maintain extreme positional discipline without the ball for nearly an hour, combined with the absolute ruthlessness required to punish a single spilled save. Beautiful, dominant football might secure the group stages, but standing on the podium at the end requires something else, the capacity to look outplayed and exhausted, and still find the gritty resilience to reach the next round.